Hello everyone and welcome to Ash's Whiskey Wars. Today we have a bourbon war on the channel. If you've seen my neck pours for both of these bourbons, which I have posted recently, obviously they were recorded a little bit of time ago, I quite like to release my Whiskey Wars now, shortly after the neck pour, just so it stays in your mind really. I think it's better for you watching because you can see the neck pour and then pretty soon after see how the whiskey has developed as it's opened up. Today this is actually a good review because these are two of my favourite bourbons that I have actually. So we have the Elijah Craig small batch, which is proofed at 47% ABV, and the Eagle Rare 10-year-old at 45% ABV. I also think this is quite good as well because the Elijah Craig used to be a 12-year-old whiskey. That age statement got removed because it's obviously a little bit younger, but perhaps this is now a 10-year whiskey or something similar, maybe a 9-year. So I don't think the age of these two whiskies is going to be too different either. Proof is pretty similar as well, and again they're two of my favourites, so I really wanted to war them together and see which I prefer. Also guys, if you can hear the difference in the audio, please do let me know in the comments down below. This is my second day of filming. I filmed yesterday for the first time and the audio came out really quiet actually, so I've changed something and put it to medium. I may have to do it to high, so do let me know what you think of the audio as well, if there's an improvement. I hope there is because I've just got it to improve the audio, so hopefully there is an improvement that you notice, but let's get straight into the whiskey. I also really like both of the bottle designs of these two bourbons, and I'm really sad actually that they're both coming to an end. I will be in the future buying both of these whiskies again because, like I say, they are two of my favourites. But I will actually give straight away a point to the Elijah Craig because the cork is a natural cork, which I do prefer. Based on colour, I have no idea if these are natural colour, but based on the colour, the Elijah does come across a little bit darker, a little bit more of a reddish gold than the Eagle Rare does. It's a wonderfully sweet nose on the Elijah Craig. It seems so intensely syrupy, which I really enjoy, but there's so much other things going on too. I get quite a strong nuttiness. Also the oak comes through, which I guess both of them add a touch of bitterness to that sweetness, which I always like. It helps balance things out. But in the Elijah, I do find that I get a little bit of chili. It's one of the few bourbons that I actually own where I do pick up heat inside the glass. Definitely like a chili pepper. Also cracked black pepper and like a little bit of a salted toast on the nose. Let's see how it does in comparison to the Eagle Rare. So the Eagle Rare, you do not pick up any of that heat or the pepper. So no chili, no pepper. Lighter, softer, more orange. It's a bit more citrusy. Maple syrup and orange is what I get on the Eagle Rare. Whereas the Elijah, I get more nuts, a little bit of a buttered toast, black pepper and chili peppers for a bit of heat. Yeah, that chili pepper is something that's really quite prominent. This is one of my favourite bourbons. For the money, I love it. But I have to be honest, I prefer the nose on the Elijah. But that chili pepper is quite strong for me. I don't know if it's strong for you. Do let me know in the comments down below if you get that chili pepper on the Elijah. For me, I do, and it's quite strong. Definitely feels like I'm going to get heartburn from it. There's a bit more spiciness coming from the Elijah. Maybe it'll be some baking spices. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, on to the taste. So the first note's actually oak, but I do feel chili heat down the back of my throat, which I can't decide if I like it or dislike it. It's kind of like when you have something that's painful but nice. It's one of that, it's like, is it too much spice or heat for me? But the flavour is also good, so it confuses me a lot. With a really intense caramel sweetness, and I have to stress, the sweetness in here is something that I think is of real high quality. I really enjoy the sweetness of the Elijah, although of course with that chili heat and the oakiness, and also a little bit of nuts as well, that and because they are prominent notes, it does distract you from actually what is really nice sweetness inside of here. Okay, on to the Eagle Rare. I really enjoy the flavours of the Eagle Rare. Straight away though, I can clearly admit the Elijah has more complexity, for me, personally. The Eagle Rare comes across more simple, but sometimes when things are simple, it doesn't mean they're bad. If what you're getting from those notes is really nice, that's all that matters. And the Eagle Rare gives me a really nice, soft sweetness that I really do appreciate. But I would actually say there's a touch of maybe coffee in the Eagle Rare, or like a leather, that the Elijah just does not have. And so I think they add their bitterness to the sweetness in different ways. This is more of like a coffee or a leather, and the Elijah Craig is more of a bitter nut, oak and chili pepper. In fact, I think the Elijah might be a touch sweeter than the Eagle Rare, but the Eagle Rare is far softer and less offensive as well. The note of vanilla is more prominent in the Elijah. The Eagle Rare definitely comes across just freshly squeezed oranges and maple syrup. I do get a touch of chocolate, milk chocolate in the Eagle Rare though, which is obviously, it's really nice. I really enjoy that note. But vanilla wise, that goes to the Elijah. There's been something bothering me with this whiskey as well, and bothering not in a bad way, just it's been on my mind. Because behind that chili, which does actually go away the more you drink it, there's something a little bit dusty, but a bitter dustiness, and I'm pretty sure it's nutmeg on the Elijah, and I do not get it on the Eagle Rare. I think the only spice you could associate with the Eagle Rare is probably a sweet cinnamon. Not even an earthy cinnamon, probably sweet. The Elijah definitely gives you more spiciness, and I would say nutmeg. Something dusty in the back end. And reviewing these side by side, I find myself favouring the Elijah, which really surprises me, because honestly, I've been raving about this. I really enjoy it. I've just got some apples actually through on the Elijah Craig. So apples, oranges, apple and nutmeg, orange and cinnamon. That's the sort of differences you're gonna find really. I find myself just constantly in the glass of the Elijah. Complexity goes to the Elijah, definitely. But I have to be honest, I know because I drank through this quite quickly, there's something I really like about having a bourbon that's not overly complex, that I can just sit back and relax and focus on something else and just drink it. And this suits me down to the ground. The Elijah, actually, I wouldn't have this as a relaxed sipper. This is something that I would happily pour and just take half an hour and just think about, because I imagine this review is going to be dragging on because I keep coming back and thinking there's something else that I want to talk about, there's something else. Even sipping it, I get more of like a cedar wood coming through now. Really prominent cedar wood in here. And with the Eagle Rare, it's much less so. If you had to put a wood down, it would be far more of a sandalwood, a bit more creamy and less spicy and less potent. The cedar, the Elijah, it's more cedar because it's more lively, it's more prominent, and it's got a stronger flavour profile as well. I'm going to quickly touch on the price now because the Elijah is more expensive. So in the UK, what I love about this 10-year-old is its affordability. This whiskey is anything from 30 at the low end to maxing out at 36. I never find it more than that. And the other good thing about it is it's available on most websites and most supermarkets. So it's accessible, it's affordable, and you're getting a 10-year age statement for a bourbon that is really tasty and nice. So I love this whiskey. The Elijah is actually, it can be anything from 37 to 47 pounds in the UK. I actually picked this one up in Germany on Prime Day, so I actually bought it for around 27 pounds equivalent, 26, 27 pounds, which was a steal. I just had to buy it because I have wanted both of these for a long time, especially the Elijah. The Elijah was like the one that I wanted when I first got into bourbon years ago, but I never quite went for it because of the price. It's a tough one, this, because you're talking about the Elijah being a good £10 more expensive than the Eagle Rare. I would say personally they're two fantastic whiskies and they're both worth the money, although I would like to see the Elijah a little bit cheaper. I would imagine I would go for the Eagle Rare more often than I will go for the Elijah. So I think over the course of a year I would drink more Eagle Rare, so that's something to consider as well. I have to be honest though, I am super excited about picking up an Elijah barrel proof in the future. That is something that's like really high up on my list now. Hopefully towards Christmas time I'll be picking up the barrel proof. Which one wins today? This is cheaper and I would drink more of it, so that's got to mean something. But I'm not completely sold on the chili and the heat, but I know a lot of people will be. I'm actually going to give the win today to the Elijah Craig. I've been really, really pleasantly surprised with this whiskey. Okay guys, I hope you liked that review today. If you agreed or disagreed with me, please do let me know in the comments down below. If you have any bourbon recommendations, also let me know as well. Thank you to all my Patreon members for actively supporting the channel. Please do leave a like on the video down below if you like the video, and also please do click that subscribe button as well. That's really important, that really helps the channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching this Bourbon War on the channel, and I hope to see you all for the next Whiskey War.